So we are going to study today the short story "Tiger in the Tunnel" by Ruskin Bond. I will prefer to mention few uh, points at first before I go to describe the story or talk about the story further. So the first point that I would like to mention is, of course, that Tiger in the Tunnel. This story is this is an excellent short story, and it is liked and read by children and adult alike. Okay. Secondly, this is a story that is, in fact, that bears a signature style of Ruskin Bond. Bond's expression of the language, I mean, the use of the language, Bond's lucidity of the thought, the language, etc. And Bond's, in fact, the artistic capacity to portray very intricate details, fabricate them into the tapestry of the story. These are, in fact, very important and very fascinating, basically. The third point I here is the story is a short story, but in its larger scope, with its larger implication and significance, it is more than a short story because the ideas, the thoughts, which and the various points of discussions which are in fact infused within this story are actually demanding further discussions. So this story is more than a short story. We can call it safely a novella, okay, which is not a novel proper, but lesser than a novel, but more than a short story. Now, fourthly, the story portrays the picture of the post-independent India when India was progressing in the line of with industrialization, establishing railroads, etc. But at the same time, what Ruskin Bond puts forward here is a contrasting picture of the people like Baldeo, the tribal who represents a tribal family living in in a jungle side area or at the foothills. So these people, they are still undergoing the economic downtrodden status, and they are actually representing the poor, marginalized section people in India, living in India, and still the benefits of the industrializations has not yet reached to them properly. So Baldo-like people, they have their own ways of living their life, but that is not sufficient enough to support them fully in terms of monetary support. I mean, uh, that was not enough for their livelihood. So they had to accept any type of odd jobs that came in their way, despite the fact that they even threatened their life. So, the fifth point that I would like to mention here is that uh, the story also describes the conflict between the human world and the animal world at large. Particularly here in this story, you will see that a fight ensued between Baldo, the character, and the tiger. So this is a conflict between the human world and the wildlife. Okay, so this is one picture that, of course, portrayed in this short story. Last but not the least, that is, the story is the depiction of the eternal continuity of the of life, about the eternal continuity of life, that life must go on. Life does not stand still, it must go on. So even after the death of Baldo, as we'll see in the story, the Baldo's place is replaced by his son Tembu. So Tembu takes the place of his father when his father Baldo dies. So these are the main basic points on which we shall focus during our study of the short story. So now, if you go to the short story, there you will see that it portrays mainly two characters, Baldio, the father, and his son, Tembu. Tembu is around 12 years of age, and Baldio must be at his 40s or near 50. So this is about the main two characters who are there in the short story as characters, but apart from them, what is referred to are other two members of the family, namely Baldio's wife or Tembu's mother and Tembu's own sister. So this is a four member family, and they, as Ruskin Bond portrays, they used to live. They had a piece of land, a patch of land where Baldio used to cultivate, and he sold those crops in the market. And whatever the earnings he had to buy his bread with that earning. That was not, of course, very sufficient. So he joined as a watchman, as a guard of the tunnel through which the train used to pass. Okay, so he took the job of a watchman or a guard of the tunnel. Okay, this tunnel was located near the forest or almost in the forest. Okay, and near the foothill of on foothill of a mountain over there. So it it was one night at one night it happened so that Baldio and his son Tembu, they were in the nearby heart of that beside that tunnel, and as the train was supposed to come soon, so Baldio went to in fact see whether the lantern, the signal lantern, was still on or not, and whether the tunnel was clear for passing of the train. So Baldur woke up, Baldur went there, and all of a sudden, after a few minutes, he faced that tiger. Actually, what happened? This Baldur, he had the knowledge that there was a man-eater tiger in that forest, but Baldur had the confidence that he can fight back the uh, tiger if it comes there, because he was doing the job for quite few couple of months, but he never saw this tiger or any other animal to frequent in that place of the forest or near that tunnel. So he was confident enough that the tiger won't be coming in at that area. So he went there, but still he was armed with an axe that he got it as an heir to his father. His father gave him, Baldio's father gave Baldio that axe. So he was carrying that axe and he was there guarding the tunnel. And one night he faced that tiger. The tiger prowled upon Baldio for the first time. In the first attack, Baldio could save himself, and with a very swift swing, he saved himself, and also at the same time he had striken hard against the tiger's shoulder. The tiger got wounded, and the wounded tiger gets actually more ferocious, you know. So the second time when the tiger attacked Baldio, this time once more, Baldur could save himself with his swift swing, but his axe that he grafted against the tiger's right foot, okay, it got stuck over there in tiger's bone, right leg bone. So now Baldur was armless to fight back against the tiger. So the tiger, in his third prowling, it attacked Baldur and ripped apart Baldur. So Baldur died over there. But the tiger was also mortally wounded. Okay, the tiger was in fact moving toward the tunnel, and at that time, just a train came, and the train had run over the tiger. So this is how the tiger died. This is also how Baldur died. Now, Tembu, after he woke up and he found that his father is not returning back after even after quite some time after the passing of the train, so he went near the tunnel. Tembu, the 12-year-old boy, he went near the tunnel and found his father's ripped apart body, and his father is already dead. So the family mourned over the death of of this figure of Baldo quite for quite a few days, and after that, the story says that now Tembu is back at the place of Baldo as guard or watchman to look after to see the clearance of the tunnel when the train passes. So this is a very short and simple short story, but it encompasses various ideas as I had already mentioned. So you can now, I believe, with your study of the story, you can now, of course, elucidate and describe the points further. I hope so. Thank you very much.